Good evening and welcome to Sky Night. The waxing crescent moon is visible a slim crescent low in the west just after sunset. It shines with 12% illumination while located in Virgo. Please enable captions in your preferred language to view local observing cities and times. Join us for a guided tour of the entire night sky. We begin the evening with Moon meets Venus low in the western sky, then look up to Vega almost straight overhead and Altair high in the southern sky before finding the Dumbbell Nebula high in the southern sky. As the night deepens, Alpha Capricornids meteors appear halfway up the southern sky, while Deneb sits almost straight overhead, followed by the Elephant's Trunk Nebula high in the northern sky and Southern Delta Aquariids meteors halfway up the southern sky, ending with Mars near the eastern horizon. Toward morning, the Andromeda Galaxy rises almost straight overhead, Difta shines low in the southern sky, Saturn sits halfway up the southern sky, the Triangulum Galaxy appears high in the southern sky, and Perseids meteors light up high in the northern sky. Look halfway up the southern sky for a close pairing of the waxing Moon and Venus, separated by about 1.9 degrees. The last good view before they set comes at about 9 in the evening in London, 8:25 in the evening in New York, and 8:05 in the evening in Los Angeles. Vega is the bright blue-white star sitting almost straight overhead, marking the top corner of the summer triangle. Around 9:55 in the evening, this star reaches its highest point in the sky for observers in Los Angeles, New York, and London, and from London, it never sets tonight. For a long time, Vega served astronomers as one of the fundamental reference points for defining the star brightness scale. Its apparent magnitude was very close to zero in the magnitude system. Altair is the bright white star found high in the southern sky, forming the low corner of the summer triangle. This star culminates around 11:10 in the evening for viewers in Los Angeles, New York, and London. Altair was used as a navigational star both by sailors on the seas of the Northern Hemisphere and by modern aviation pilots. This is due to its high brightness and easy recognizability in the summer triangle pattern. The Dumbbell Nebula is a green-tinged puff of gas in the Milky Way, located just north of the Arrow of Sagitta. The nebula reaches its greatest altitude around 11:20 in the evening for observers in Los Angeles, New York, and London. The glowing gas of the Dumbbell Nebula stretches about 2.5 light-years from one end to the other. The Alpha Capricornids meteors are active tonight, with streaks appearing to radiate from halfway up the southern sky. Around 11:45 in the evening, the radiant culminates for viewers in Los Angeles, New York, and London. Deneb is the blue-white supergiant at the top of the Northern Cross, positioned almost straight overhead. This star reaches its highest point around 12 midnight for observers in Los Angeles, New York, and London, and from London, it never sets tonight. The region of the sky around Deneb and Cygnus is one of the richest areas of the Milky Way visible from Earth. It includes numerous emission nebulae and regions of active new star formation. The Elephant's Trunk Nebula is a dark dust pillar visible high in the northern sky near Alderman and the Garnet Star in Cepheus. Look just south of Mu Cephei, the deep red Garnet Star, to locate the surrounding cluster, which is easy to see in binoculars. You will need a telescope to view the nebula itself, as it is not visible without any instrument. The nebula culminates around 1 in the morning for viewers in Los Angeles, New York, and London, remaining above the horizon all night. The cloud it belongs to is enormous, several full moon widths across, and its central cluster is easy in binoculars even though the trunk is not. In catalogs it is listed as IC 1396. The Southern Delta Aquariids meteors are active tonight, with trails appearing to radiate from halfway up the southern sky. Around 2 in the morning, the radiant reaches its greatest altitude for observers in Los Angeles, New York, and London. Mars is rising from the eastern horizon, appearing as a low, orange-red point of light. The planet rises in London at 1:20 in the morning, then in New York at 2 in the morning, and finally in Los Angeles at 2:16 in the morning. Mars has a thin atmosphere composed primarily of carbon dioxide, with surface pressure less than 1% of Earth's atmospheric pressure at sea level. We now turn to the crossings of Deimos and Phobos across the face of Mars. Deimos makes its first crossing across the apparent disk of Mars, a passage lasting 72 minutes. In Los Angeles, this transit occurs between 9:53 in the morning and 11:05 in the morning while Mars is above the horizon. In New York, the event runs between 12:53 in the afternoon and 2:05 in the afternoon with Mars above the horizon. In London, Mars is below the horizon. Phobos begins its sequence with a first crossing across the apparent disk of Mars, taking 53 minutes. In Los Angeles, the transit unfolds between 11:09 in the morning and 12:02 in the afternoon as Mars stands above the horizon. In New York, the crossing happens between 2:09 in the afternoon and 3:02 in the afternoon with Mars above the horizon. In London, Mars is below the horizon. Phobos proceeds with its next crossing across the apparent disk of Mars, a journey of 53 minutes. In London, this transit takes place between 2:48 in the morning and 3:41 in the morning while Mars is above the horizon. In Los Angeles and New York, Mars is below the horizon. Phobos continues its sequence with another crossing across the apparent disk of Mars, lasting 52 minutes. In Los Angeles, the event occurs between 2:28 in the morning and 3:20 in the morning with Mars above the horizon. In New York, the transit runs between 5:28 in the morning and 6:20 in the morning as Mars stands above the horizon. In London, the crossing happens between 10:28 in the morning and 11:20 in the morning while Mars is above the horizon. The Andromeda Galaxy is a pale smudge almost straight overhead, found by hopping from the Great Square of Pegasus. The galaxy reaches its highest point around 4 in the morning for viewers in Los Angeles, New York, and London, and from London, it never sets to night. Andromeda's extended halo of stars stretches far beyond its visible disk, reaching out to distances of up to 1 million light-years from the galactic center. Difta is a bright star in Cetus, located low in the southern sky along the extended eastern side of the Great Square. Around 4 in the morning, this star culminates for observers in Los Angeles, New York, and London. The name Difta was officially approved by the International Astronomical Union based on the Arabic phrase al-Difti, meaning the second frog. The first frog in this same naming tradition was the star Fomalhaut. Saturn is a steady golden point halfway up the southern sky, fainter than Jupiter, but distinct in its calm glow. The planet reaches its greatest altitude around 4:15 in the morning for viewers in Los Angeles, New York, and London. Saturn has 146 confirmed moons as of recent astronomical surveys, making it the planet with the most moons in our solar system, far more than any other world orbiting our Sun. The Triangulum Galaxy is a broad, ghostly glow in the southern sky, visible between Andromeda and the small triangle of Triangulum. The galaxy culminates around 4:50 in the morning for observers in Los Angeles, New York, and London. The Triangulum Galaxy is sometimes called the Pinwheel Galaxy, a nickname that causes endless confusion because it is also commonly applied to the unrelated galaxy Messier 101. In catalogs, it is listed as M33. The Perseids meteors are active tonight, with streaks appearing to radiate from high in the northern sky. The radiant reaches its highest point around 5:05 in the morning in London and 5:35 in the morning in Los Angeles and New York, and it never sets to night in any of the three. Subscribe to stay updated, and I wish you clear skies.